Imagine this situation for a moment. You are standing in front of many people. Suddenly someone steps forward and begins insulting you. They criticize you loudly, attack your character, and try to humiliate you in front of everyone. Your heart starts beating faster. Your mind fills with anger. You feel the urge to defend yourself, to argue, or maybe even to shout back. Most of us would react immediately. We would try to prove them wrong. We would respond with anger. We would allow that person to control our emotions. But what if there was another way? What if you could stay calm, peaceful, and completely unaffected by the negativity of others? More than 2,500 years ago, a man demonstrated exactly how to do this. His response to hatred and insults became one of the most powerful lessons in self-improvement ever told. That man was Gautama Buddha. Today I want to share a short but powerful story from his life. It is a story that reveals one of the greatest secrets to emotional strength and inner peace. This story is not just about spirituality. It is about mastering your mind. Because in life, you cannot control what people say about you. You cannot control their opinions, their anger, or their criticism. But there is one thing you can always control: your reaction. And once you understand this lesson, the way you handle negativity, conflict, and difficult people will completely change. So listen carefully to this story. Because sometimes a simple story can hold a life-changing truth. Welcome back to the channel. If you are someone who wants to grow mentally, build emotional strength, and improve your mindset every day, then you are in the right place. Self-improvement is not just about working harder or achieving more success. It is about developing a peaceful and disciplined mind that remains stable even in difficult situations. Many people believe that happiness comes from controlling the outside world, controlling other people, circumstances, and events. But wise teachers throughout history have said something very different. They say true peace comes from controlling what happens inside your mind. And one of the greatest teachers of this wisdom was Gautama Buddha. Buddha dedicated his life to understanding human suffering and teaching people how to free themselves from anger, stress, fear, and negativity. His teachings were simple, yet incredibly powerful. He taught that the mind is the source of both suffering and happiness. If you cannot control your reactions, even small problems can destroy your peace. But if you master your mind, even the biggest challenges cannot disturb you. Today's story perfectly demonstrates this idea. It shows how Buddha responded when someone insulted him publicly and tried to provoke him. Most people would have reacted emotionally. But Buddha responded with wisdom. And the lesson hidden in that moment is something every one of us can apply in our daily lives, whether it is dealing with criticism at work, arguments in relationships, or negativity from others. So let's step back in time and hear this powerful story. One day, Buddha was traveling through a village with several of his disciples. People had gathered to listen to his teachings. Many admired him and respected his wisdom. But not everyone shared that respect. Among the crowd stood a man who was filled with anger and resentment toward Buddha. He believed Buddha's teachings were wrong. He thought Buddha was misleading people and gaining too much influence. The man decided he would confront Buddha publicly. He stepped forward and began shouting loudly. He insulted Buddha. He mocked his teachings. He called him a fraud and accused him of deceiving people. The crowd became uncomfortable. Some people felt embarrassed by the man's behavior. Others were curious to see how Buddha would respond. Buddha's disciples were especially upset. They felt angry and wanted to defend their teacher. But Buddha remained calm. He stood there quietly, listening without showing anger, frustration, or even irritation. Minutes passed as the man continued shouting and insulting him. Finally, the man stopped. He expected Buddha to respond with anger or argument. Instead, Buddha asked him a simple question. He said, "If someone offers you a gift, but you refuse to accept it, who does that gift belong to?" The man looked confused but replied, "It belongs to the person who offered it." Buddha nodded gently. Then he said, "In the same way, you have offered me your anger and insults. But I do not accept them. Therefore, they remain with you." The crowd became silent. In that moment, the man realized something powerful. His anger had failed to disturb Buddha, because Buddha had simply refused to receive it. This story reveals one of the most important truths about emotional control. Many people believe other people have the power to make them angry, upset, or stressed. We often say things like, "He made me angry. She ruined my day. They hurt my feelings." But if we look closely, we realize something important. Other people cannot control our emotions. They can only trigger them. The real power lies in how we choose to respond. Buddha understood this deeply. When the angry man insulted him, Buddha did not react automatically. He did not let someone else control his emotions. Instead, he made a conscious choice. He chose not to accept the negativity being offered to him. This is the difference between reacting and responding. A reaction is automatic. It happens instantly and emotionally. A response, however, is thoughtful and controlled. It comes from awareness. Most people react to everything around them. They react to criticism. They react to social media comments. They react to disagreements. And because of this, their emotions are constantly controlled by other people. But people who develop self-awareness learn something powerful. They learn that not every situation deserves their energy. They learn that silence is sometimes stronger than argument. They learn that peace is more valuable than being right. The moment you understand this lesson, your life begins to change. Because emotional strength is not about winning every argument. It is about maintaining control over your mind. Now the question is, how can we apply this lesson in our daily lives? Because situations like this happen to all of us. Someone criticizes your work. A friend says something hurtful. A stranger leaves a negative comment online. Your first instinct might be to react immediately. But this is exactly the moment where you have a choice. Instead of reacting instantly, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Ask yourself a simple question. Do I need to accept this? Not every criticism deserves your attention. Not every insult deserves your response. Sometimes the most powerful response is calm silence. This does not mean you become weak or passive. It means you become emotionally intelligent. You choose when to respond and when to walk away. You protect your mental energy. Think about how much stress in life comes from unnecessary reactions. Arguments that didn't need to happen. Anger that lasted for hours. Worry caused by someone else's opinion. Now imagine removing all of that unnecessary emotional weight. Imagine being able to stay calm even when others are negative. Imagine having complete control over your reactions. That is real strength. And it starts with remembering the wisdom of Buddha. If someone offers you anger, criticism, or negativity, you do not have to accept it. The world will always have criticism. People will judge you. They will question your decisions. Sometimes they will misunderstand you. And occasionally, they may even try to bring you down. This is a normal part of life. But what truly defines your strength is not what people say about you. It is how you respond. The story of Buddha reminds us that peace is not something we find in perfect circumstances. Peace is something we create within ourselves. When we stop reacting to every negative comment. When we stop letting other people's anger control our emotions. When we choose calmness instead of conflict. We begin to develop true inner power. Remember Buddha's simple question. If someone offers you a gift you do not accept, who does it belong to? The same principle applies to anger, insults, and negativity. You do not have to carry what others try to give you. You can leave it with them. And by doing so, you protect your peace. Because the strongest person is not the one who fights every battle. The strongest person is the one who knows which battles are worth fighting. And sometimes, the most powerful response of all is calm silence.